Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. So a lot of you guys have been asking me for more beginner-friendly sewing tutorials. So in this video, I'm going to show you guys how to make a fully lined tote bag. Tote bags are great projects for beginners because they're fully customizable. You can make them whatever dimension you want. You can add a pocket if you want to, or you can keep it simple. In this video, I'm going to show you how to make one without using a pattern. For this project, you're going to use regular quilter's cotton, or you can use some canvas. You're also going to need some interfacing if you have thinner fabric. The first step to making our tote bag is to cut our fabric down to size. So what you want to do is cut out 4 squares of fabric, 2 from your outer fabric and 2 from your lining. Each of these pieces of fabric needs to be 16 inches by 14 inches, or if you want a bigger bag, you'll just make it a little bit wider. If you want a smaller bag, you just make it a little bit smaller. To make sure my lining fabric is the same size as my outer fabric, I lay my outer fabric on top of the lining and I just cut around it. This next part is optional, but I like to box the bottom of my tote bag. So to do this, you're going to cut out 2 2-inch squares from the bottom of your tote bag. So I like to take a marker and mark my 2 inches, draw a line, and then cut it out. I have my outer fabric and my lining fabric stacked on top of each other just to make sure those squares are the same size. Once you cut the squares from the corner, you should have 4 even pieces. Next, you're going to place your outer fabric pieces right sides together, and we're going to sew along the side seams and the bottom. We're not going to sew those squares just yet. We're going to repeat that same step with the lining, except with our lining, we're going to leave about a 4-inch opening on one of the sides. That way we can turn our bag right side out later on. I'm sewing with a 1/2-inch seam allowance. After sewing, I'm going to take some pinking shears and clean up the seams of the bag. I'm just using the shears to trim off some of the excess seam allowance. Now we're going to sew our box corners. So to do this, you're going to grab the squares that we cut out from the side, and you're going to pull them until your side seam and your bottom seam are aligned, and then we're going to sew across that straight line. We're going to do this with the outer and the lining. After sewing, we're going to turn our tote bag right side out and we're going to iron those seams flat. This is really important if you want your bag to look more professional. Ironing your seams is one of those steps that you really don't want to skip. We're going to iron the seams on the lining too, but we're not going to turn it right side out just yet. Now we're going to cut our straps out. For the straps, you want to cut out 2 strips of fabric that's 4 inches by 24 inches each. I added interfacing to my straps to make them sturdier. To prep our straps, we're going to do a double fold. So to do this, you want to fold your fabric in half, hot dog style, and you're going to iron it flat. Then you're going to unfold your strap and you're going to fold the sides towards the center. We're going to do this on both sides, but I like to do one side at a time just because it's a little bit easier to do. Next, we're going to fold our strap in half hot dog style one more time, and we're going to iron the whole thing flat. I take my time doing this because the strap is a lot thicker here. Once you're done sewing, your strap should be 1 inch wide. Now you're going to do a top stitch around the entire perimeter. Alright, now it's time to place our straps onto our bag. So to do this, you're going to place your bag, make sure it's still right side out, and you're going to take your strap, and I like to put them about 3 inches from the edge of the bag. So I count 3 inches, I place my strap, and I like to use these clips, but pins work as well. I clip it into place, and then I do a basting stitch across the top of it. Once you've done one side, you're going to repeat the steps with the second side. Now we're going to add the lining. To add the lining, you're going to take your lining and make sure that it's still wrong side out, and we're going to stuff our bag inside of that lining. This is going to make the outer fabric and the lining fabrics right sides together. Once it's inserted, I take some clips and I place it around the perimeter. Then we're going to take it over to our sewing machine and sew around the perimeter of the bag. Alright, so now it's time to turn our bag right side out. So remember that hole we left in the side earlier? We're going to use this to pull the outside of the bag right side out. Now that our bag is right side out, we're going to take it over to our ironing board and we're going to iron it flat. We're also going to sew that hole closed. Now we're going to stuff the lining into the bag. So to do this, I just pull the top apart a little bit and I just start to push the lining into the bag. As I'm pushing it into the bag, I'm maneuvering the top to make sure everything is even and the lining isn't too far in or too far out of the bag. Once I have the lining where I like it, I'm going to take it over to my ironing board and I'm going to iron the top flat. I'm also going to do a top stitch around the perimeter of that bag, really close to the edge. And once we've sewn that top stitch around the perimeter, you have a completed tote bag. Like I said before, I really love making tote bags because they're fully customizable and they're really easy for a beginner project. I'm really trying to stay more consistent with my YouTube channel, so leave a comment and let me know what other sewing projects you guys want to see me make on my channel, and I'll try my hardest to make those for you. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching. Bye!